Hello everyone, I'm Diana Wang. I work for MinerSource. We are a Shenzhen, China company provide Bitcoin mining machine for global miners. Today, I want to dive into something super important for Bitcoin miners out there. Cooling solution for your mining rigs. Please think of your mining rigs like a high-performance sports car engine. It needs to stay cool to keep running smoothly. There are a few ways to do this. Air cooling, water cooling, and the latest and greatest, immersion oil cooling. Each of these has its pros, cons, and costs. So let's break it down and see what might work best for your setup. Alright, let's start with air cooling, the old one. This is the most common and the simplest method. You basically use fans to blow air across your mining hardware, which helps to cool it down. So what you need is fans, heat sinks, and ventilation. Fans are mounted on your mining rigs to keep the air moving. Heat sinks are attached to your components to soak up the heat and help the fans blow it away. Last, you need good ventilation to get rid of the warm air and bring in fresh air. The initial cost for air cooling pretty low. Fans and heat sinks are not too expensive. Running cost not too bad, but fans are use some electricity. Maintenance cost is low, just need to make sure to clean off the dust now and then. The pros are simple, cheap to start, and easy to maintain. Cons is get too much noise and is not super effective for larger setups. Plus, it can leave hotspots if the air doesn't move right, can cause the machine to overheat and result in a higher failure rate. Next up is water cooling, a setup from air cooling. It's more efficient and quieter. Here you use water to absorb the heat and then cool it down through a radiator. So what you need are water blocks. These go on your components to transfer heat to the water. The second part is radiators. They help get rid of the heat from the water. The third part are pumps and tubing to keep the water moving around. And the reservoirs can hold the cooling fluid and make the maintenance easier. The cost higher than air cooling because you need more gear and higher on maintenance. You will need to check and top up the water now and then. Pros are much more efficient, quieter, and can handle more heat. The cons are more expensive to set up, needs more maintenance, and there is a risk of leaks if it's not set up right. The last one, let's talk about the coolest method. Immersion oil cooling. This is the newest and most advanced way to keep your mining rig cool. You literally dunk your hardware in a special non-conductive liquid that absorbs heat like a champ. What you need is immersion tanks to hold your hardware and the cooling liquid. Cooling liquid usually is a special mineral oil or synthetic liquid that doesn't conduct electricity, and the heat exchangers to transfer the heat from the liquid to the outside. And you can choose dry cooler or water tower. The last you need is pumps and filters. They are to keep the liquid moving and clean. The initial cost pretty high since you need specialized tanks and liquid. Running cost lower than air and water cooling because it's super efficient, but you will need to keep an eye on the liquid and change it occasionally. The pros are extremely efficient, silent, no dust buildup, and it can extend the life of your hardware. The cons are expensive to set up, complex to install, and has specific maintenance needs. So how do you pick the right one solution? Here are a few things to think about. Number one, for small setups, air cooling might be enough. For bigger operations, water or immersion cooling is better. Number two, air cooling is the cheapest to start with. Immersion cooling is the priciest but could save your money in the long run. Number three, if you need top performance, immersion cooling is your best bet. Number four, think about how much time you can spend on upkeep. Air cooling needs the least maintenance, while immersion cooling needs more attention. Number five, if noise is an issue, immersion cooling is the quietest, followed by water cooling. Air cooling can get pretty loud. As we all know, keeping your mining rig cool is super important for its performance and lifespan. Whether you go with the simplicity of air cooling, the efficiency of water cooling, or the cutting-edge immersion oil cooling, each method has its own benefits and downsides. Think about your specific needs, budget, and how much maintenance you are willing to do. By doing this, you can pick the best cooling solution for your Bitcoin mine setup. Next, we will be visiting more than a dozen factories in China that specialize in manufacturing oil cooling and water cooling equipment, like containers and cabinet. We will compare their cooling solutions and prices for your reference. If you have any questions about this, don't hesitate to follow me. I'm Diana Wang from MinerSource.